Like if you get hit with a 40 millimeter at low altitude, it will straight fuck your aircraft. Like you're down.
It
That's
loses
it. Like if
damage
you're
over
in an
distance.
yeah. So at high altitude, you can survive one 40 millimeter hit, but you go home right fucking now. If you're in a Manta, if you're in an Albatross, it doesn't matter. From 1 to 1,000 meters, which is where the damage scale, where they will engage you. Because if you get hit beyond that, well, it might just tink you. But
Hmm.
if you get hit at 1 to 1,000 meters in an Albatross, you're dead. You get hit at 1 to 1,000 meters in a Razor Bill, you're dead. You get hit once at 1,000 meters in a Petrel, and once with a Manta. But you go home now because if you don't, you die now if they hit you again. With a 40 millimeter, that's the case. With a 30 millimeter, um, you're supposed to be able to survive one impact with anything. It looks like the Manta took three. But then again, when the fuck did they learn how to shoot?
Yeah.
Like, those turrets can't hit the broadside of a barn from the inside and then suddenly turn into snipers where it's like tink, tink, tink. It's like,
It's like when you were
what?
gone, they trained rigorously, and then you come back and they're like battle hardened veterans, just ready to all
It must be.
5 o'clock shadow, bandanas and shit, and all muscled out all of a sudden. Like, yeah.
I swear to God, that's what must have happened because
They did some push-ups.
they, they didn't hit anything the first time we were there except the poor puppers.
Yeah. No, it triggered something within them. A need for blood. The thirst for the kill.
Probably. So what I'm going to do is I'll just rather than doing the cool double take, I'm just going to do it one at a time. Save resources, and just that way I can focus on it, make sure nothing goes wrong. So what I like to do, um, in order to hold altitude, although what I kind of thought was that you would be handling the one island and I was going to handle the other, and but you were just kind of manning the ship, and I'm like, all right, whatever. So
Yeah, that other island just took
here's
care of itself, to be honest with you.
well, well, yeah, because there was no threat. But by me having to split the focus and provide terminal guidance and all that. So here's how you, by the way, it should have shown it to you, but here's how you can always find out yourself. So you take the, here's how you get it to kind of like just be as quick and efficient as possible. At the carrier, splash the seals or whatever you're using to carry your virus bots first. Once they are away from the carrier, preferably in the direction the assault is going to go. Not always possible, but whatever. Once they're there, or at least out and away from the carrier a good distance. Once they're splashed and wet, then use the petrels that are going to carry them. Unless, of course, you're at the island and you're just door kicking, in which
Hmm.
case the seals just swim in, take care of business, and swim out. The seal has the fastest speed in water, by the way, obviously.
Because it's the lightest,
So it's what.
right?
Yep. Well, it's designed as a scout. It's an LAV, light armored vehicle. So it's designed to be a light, fast scout. It's one of the reasons why it can't take a punch, but it can sure give one, especially if you give it a 40 or IR missiles. Now, the thing is,
Yeah, I
for
remember I
petrols,
was playing with someone that had an IR missile rack. Because we
you
used to
only
have
get
like a
four
big group that
shots.
we put together to play that game with.
You only
Or
get
I
four
did.
shots, but make them count, and you can fucking change a battle.
Yeah, so that IR rack, I would fire it over the island. Remember how I told you that I used to take the razor bills and other stuff and just fire them in the general direction?
Mm-hmm.
And then like they would start doing the same thing. They would start tracking after I fired automatically with the ground units too.
Yeah, they'll home in on something. They track on a heat source.
Yeah, they'll start tracking automatically afterwards.
You know, it's just so personally, an IR missile rack will only get 2 kills at best. But instead, it can cause serious damage to 4 units. It's got a long minimum range, though. That dead zone is not to be underestimated. But still, beyond that, so you splash your unit that's going to get transported by the petrol, okay? You tell it to head out a bit, hopefully in the right direction. You launch your petrol.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as it is spinning itself up and all that, what I do is I give it the initial program for the flight, which is I'll have it take off, and then its first waypoint away from the carrier, I will set it to 100 meters. Unless I'm like right at an island and there's an obvious height problem, in which case 200 meters. Just for safety. Because in the old system, it also reduced the chances of spin, you know, which
Yeah.
apparently is not as fixed as they said it was.
I used to do the height thing just so that they'd pick them up a little faster.
They will. They waste less fuel, they pick them up faster, they get on their way faster, hopefully. Leave them at low altitude, unless there's an island. But basically, your petrol has no reason for transportation to be flying any higher than 200 meters. There is no mountain, no island, or nothing. There is no obstruction in game where 200 meters is not a safe altitude.
No, like if you're telling them to
And
leave the island at that altitude, then you're gonna be in trouble. Because they'll just run into the nearest cliff or whatever.
That's why at the island, you'll notice my drop-off altitude was always 200 meters. And then my island pickup altitude was 200. You just make sure that they clear whatever problem there may be. But in many cases, 100 and sometimes even 50. Just to make sure that they scoop up that unit and then they get on their way. But what I'll do is I'll set their first waypoint a distance away in a different direction, like a 90-degree angle or a 180-degree angle from the unit they're going to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put their course to the island they're going to. And I like to put a go code, unless I know exactly where I'm taking that unit. I put a go code relatively near where I think the objective is. Like if I can remember if it's a split island and I remember that the fucking command center's on the right side island, I'm not going to tell it to hover over the left island, especially if it's further away. You know, little shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, my dogs are kind of growling at each other, so I'm telling them to fuck on, fucking stop that shit. Anyway, well, I got an English setter and a Great Pyrenees, and they're like, grrr, because the setter's jealous of the fact that the Pyrenees got on the bed. Like, dude, nothing at all, nothing at fucking all is stopping you. Get on the damn bed. Be happy. Don't be grumpy. But he's just like, grrr.
He's just doing it anyway.
Yep, he's just doing it anyway. And it's like, dude, I don't have time for your bullshit right now. So,
Got the patience.
my water, I just got a new fucking water filter too, and it's like all the water now tastes like fucking soap and some other shit. So I was like, damn it.
Yeah, something's up with that filter. What do you think? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. It could be. But anyway, so I put a go code. And if I want to do a one-ship mission, which in all honesty I may not do. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is not do a one-ship mission. Um, just because, if I'm going to do the double island capture, what I'm going to do next time around for Dio, I'm just going to have the petrol fly out, drop the bitch, and fly home. Fuck waiting around, fuck everything else, because the fuel tanks didn't fix the problem.
Yeah,
So
that was weird.
it was. I mean, their range actually felt shorter.
Maybe we have to make a new campaign for all that stuff to take effect.
What's the whole point of hot fixing of a hot patch of a
I don't know. Some games are
hot
like that.
fix?
Some
They didn't
games are
say
like
you have
that.
to. Yeah,
Well, that's
well, it
true.
could be.
That's true, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just happen to hit that exception, where you're the exception to that rule, or you're the reason why it's a suggestion. You know what I mean? Sometimes I
yeah, I
run
do.
into the weirdest glitches.
Oh, I get it. But anyway, like I said, just so what I'll do is I'll have that go code. Once I have terminal guidance as to where they're going to be going, if I'm doing a hot drop, I'll give them their landing zone coordinates, and then I give another. So basically, I'll draw a waypoint to where I want them to go. I'll draw another waypoint somewhere beyond it, and I'll put a go code on that second waypoint to preserve the altitude. And I wish you could tell them, hey, all future waypoints 200 meters, and then
Yeah,
stay at 200 fucking meters. But it doesn't. It'll pop up to 400 if you let it. It wastes so much time.
yeah. I
Just with the second
appreciate.
go.
I do. Sorry, I do appreciate strategy things, but I get so annoying whenever the micromanaging gets too ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I was asking for help for it. But anyway, it's all right. So that second go code will actually hold the petrol in place and it'll hold it in place and on altitude. So then another reason is what I can do from there is I go to the other waypoint where the landing zone is going to be. Then I click that one and tell it fucking drop vehicle here. So the petrol flies over, drops the vehicle for it gets terminal guidance. I cancel the first go code waypoint. Like I don't activate the go code, especially if I have several different units at several different places on the same code. I just lift the requirement for the go code. So it gets terminal guidance, flies to where it needs to be, then drops the unit, goes to its new go code location. While it's doing that, I already, from the new waypoint, I drag back to the seal and order a pickup. I wish you could tell it drop off and then pick up unit, but it just doesn't fucking work that way.
Yeah, it's probably the way they
This is
got it
my
set up.
way. This is my way of quickly being able to tell it pick up this unit. Don't have to give it another fucking bullshit waypoint. Tell it to go back to 200 meters, then tell it to pick up the fucking unit before it gets to that waypoint, and then tell it to fly back to the carrier. So what I do is I'll tell it from that second go code. I'll drag and drop back to the carrier, so it
Mm-hmm.
knows go home. But then I tell it once the seal is dropped off, I immediately drag drop and tell it to pick up the seal, but it will wait for the go code for that. So it flies off and goes to its go waypoint. While it does that, the seal, manual control, pop the virus bots because it's just faster than trying to order it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, honestly, maybe not. Maybe I should just tell it fucking. I'll try it in map mode and see. But you can't just click it and tell it deploy vehicles where it is for some fucking reason. You have to give it a waypoint and then tell it to drop them.
Yeah.
I, like, for fuck's sake. Anyway,
I know what you mean.
so
It'd be nice if they could give you
so
the option to build turrets on the islands. It's like if they can do it, why can't you?
It would be nice, I think. So, anyway, then as soon as the seal drops the bots, I cancel the waypoint. So the fucking or the go code waypoint. So the petrel should swoop back in, pick up the seal, and fly off with maximum efficiency and minimal delay. But when I'm doing it on two separate fucking islands with shit going wrong on both islands, and it slightly starts to go wrong. Especially when, oh, I don't know, the manta just goes, I don't feel like getting shot at anymore. I'm going home. Like, what random fucking direction do you think you're flying off into? But yeah, that was annoying. It's like I've
Hmm.
captured both islands perfectly twice. Game crashed, forgot to save, and then I do it with you and fucking EXO, and it fucks up 5 times. And I'm like, dear God, what the hell? Is it only when I try to show people I know what I'm talking about that this has to happen? But it's funny. Don't get me wrong. But at the same point in time, I start to question. You know, what the fuck,
Yeah.
guys? Anyway, aside from that, how are your other guys doing? Are they all having a good time?
Well, everyone just kind of just got off. Just like Seth came back on to just because I didn't cry and beg like a sniveling madman. He just decided to come back of his own volition because he always enjoyed spending time with me. I was
He
kind of
seemed like a
disappointed
decent
to be
dude.
the only one left.
He
Yeah,
was, or
I
you
get
were.
I get lonely because I haven't seen him around in forever, hardly as much in a while. Last night we got to play for a while though, so that was good. But he's just got some stuff going on, I guess, and he's also playing Rune Factory 5. That's also a thing. But we were friends in high school. Um,
That's cool.
so we got to hang out. So yeah, he's a good friend. He also likes cheese, I think.
Hmm.
I know he likes pizza. Can't be bad if you like pizza. That's just how the world
There's
works.
that is kind of funny.
That's just how it works here, folks. Mm, John, Seth and I have been friends with him for about. Seth, how long do you think we've known John for? Like 8 years?
I'd say about four. I don't know though.
4?
Maybe
Well, I
I
think
can't
the
really be
Miranda
bothered.
stuff was 6 or 7, and I met John around that same point when I moved there.
I don't know.
Anyways, John's been our friend for a while. He's not too bad
Nice.
either. He does have his streaks where he kind of gets. Sometimes he gets something on his mind, and that's the
Yeah.
way it is, kind of stubborn like. Like, sometimes we'll disagree with him about something. Like, he'll think about it, like, or at least my interpretation of it is like he'll think about it backwards or something by mistake, and then he'll just be convinced that that's the way it is, and we're like, no, John, come on, you got it backwards. You mean this, and then I'm like, all right, let's just let it go. But sometimes we argue, but we're still friends.
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah, he. And then there's Hammer. He was in the army, He told me he was an MG gunner. He's big on co-op. Well, we all like to do some
MG
co-op together, actually.
MG already is machine gun, so
I know. It just sounds funnier to me to say MG gunner.
fair enough.
But we all like to do co-op stuff to some degree if we're interested. And Hammer's, uh, he likes being a team player in that regard. Like, he's more satisfied being in like a support role. Like, let's say if if we're playing in MMO, John would be the tank, which he, of course, he does like doing that anyway. That's just a circumstantial thing. John would be the tank. He likes to do that. Seth would be some form of damage dealer or mage or something, right, Seth?
Sure. Ooh, explosion. As long as there's a fireball near me.
I like explosions too. I would do something similar, or I would go support while also being tactical. Thinking ahead strategy. But Hammer, he would always be the support. He wants to, which I can understand. Like sometimes when we all get on Hell at Loose, we play with the artillery or something. But Hammer would always be the backup guy. He'd be like, "Oh, I'll get on this turret on the ship," or "Oh, I'll be the medic or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing to have. But we ain't got to do much with Hammer in a while. He's been preoccupied with some stuff going on for a while. So we haven't really got to iron some of that out. We haven't got to do a whole lot with them in a while.
I hope you do get the chance to iron all that out.
Yeah, we talked a little bit today. He said he missed hanging out with us. So apparently he's just been a little busy or something.
Yeah,
But yeah.
understandable.
But what I was referring to, like, we haven't played together enough to like work out how we flow as easily. Like we do, but we need a little more time for depending on the game. You know, I was just referring to like game specific situations. Cause like we haven't played an MMO with Hammer yet, but I met him on Star Citizen.
Nice.
And he shares some similar values and sensitivities, sensibilities. I mean, like for example, this is not a very good example actually, but Star Citizen had this update where they're like, oh, we're doing a reset. Everything that you've got is getting reset. And me personally, I'm like, oh, dang it. We worked our butts off for all that. And Hammer felt the same way. He's like, well, what's the point of doing anything now? Which, personally, I never cared about Star Citizen. I didn't even pay for it. It was just given to me by a friend of ours. Nordic, the guy that likes to drive tanks. He sent it to me a little while back before I replaced the laptop that I got.
One of my friends from years back, while we were in Japan,
Oh, yeah, I've always wanted to visit there.
he spent. I miss it. He spent. He had me actually help him. He spent like $1,000 fucking dollars on like a Hornet C7 or whatever the fuck, like one of the stupid ships. And it was like last year, I think, before you could even play the game. And he put money into this in 2014. I don't even think he ever got to fly his fucking ship.
Yeah, Hammer and I made a couple of friends in Star Citizen, and they're like, "Oh, because like Star Citizen tries to." I'll be honest with you, the way it tries to play with your head is very scam. It's very much like a scam. It gives you the illusion of the grass is greener. Oh, if only I had this other ship, I'd be so much better off and the game would be more enjoyable. You get that ship and it just sucks. They all suck. They all get their butts whooped so easily. There are a couple of ships that are objectively better, but those are the most expensive ones. So you're always tempted to spend money to skip the hellacious grind. And I do call it a grind because it's really mind numbing. Like, the only way to play the game, only way to try to have fun with it is just to fuck around. Because trying to do their missions and stuff, it just, it's mind numbing. So we've had a couple of friends that spent like several $100 to $1,000 on the game because they got suckered in, and then they immediately quit out of regret, buyer's remorse. And we didn't see them in a long ass time, and then all of a sudden, some of them are starting to pop up and message a little bit, but they ain't played the game that I know of since then. And that was almost a year ago. So apparently the state of the game is that they'll announce a ship, it'll start generating interest and whatever, and then the interest will start to die down. People will start to stop, whatever X and Y, and then they'll just throw another one out there. Oh boy, look at this! Look, and then spend your money, step right up, and it's just a cycle. Now I know that
So in other words, I mean, I willingly supported Gaijin for a while because they were a smaller company, but I quit when they got to be a really big company that didn't quite give a fuck about actually being accurate anymore. Especially once the Russian and German bullshit started showing up. I mean, it feels like Russia always wins, but Germany's always second best. At everybody else, it doesn't fucking matter. Like in realistic battles, your plane will perform worse than historical, and German planes and Russian planes in particular fly better than they ever did in real life. It's like,
well, I've played the game enough to see through a lot of that. It's, to be honest, it's not quite like that. But
well,
I
I
can
played the
understand why
game.
you think that. The grass is greener on the other side a lot of the
Oh
time.
no! Oh fuck no! In this case, I will heartily and earnestly disagree because the grass isn't greener. Um, is only true to a point. The thing is, all right. So I was there a little bit with an account I can't recover because I was a little bit fucking weird. Back when it was still very end of the, well, not the end, but like middle end, I should say, of the beta. Just at the end of year 2. I hadn't heard about it in time to really, because I was still dealing with other real life shit. 9 years now. But I was dealing with shit in real life at the time, so I hadn't really heard enough about it to make up my mind. So I did have the opportunity to play in the open alpha and did not, but I did play in the open beta. Year 2. Then I was really in for year 3. Year 3 all the way through the MiG-23 being unveiled and the MiG-27 being unveiled during the 7-year anniversary, and also part of some year 8 stuff that was going on. Up until they made easy anti-cheat mandatory, and they did the graphics update, my computer couldn't handle it anymore. So, it is what it is. I got a better computer, but now easy anti-cheat, which I have serious issues with. Not because there's an anti-cheat, but because of what it is and who it reports to. It's the same old fucking story on that one. In order to access the Chinese market, they had to use a Chinese anti-cheat, which is an anti-cheat by looking at every single fucking file on your computer and reporting all of it. You have no privacy, you have no anything. It fully scans everything of your computer. One, for work, I can't have that happen. Two,
Yeah,
for
but here
personal privacy reasons, it just wasn't worth it for a game anymore.
I'm
that I
curious,
didn't quite
though.
enjoy that much.
if that's the case, then why do so many different games have it? Not just this one, but like ones that are like indie and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of games on Steam that have it.
Using
And
anti-cheat is readily accessible, and it's supposedly pretty effective. I mean, I've heard good and bad, but the thing is, it's straight spyware. For one, you have no privacy. It spies on you, and not only that, it's a Chinese product owned by the Chinese government. What are they doing with that information? Everyone's like, "Oh, well, I'm not interesting." You are to them.
no,
Because
I'm
one
the
day you
first
might come
person
up.
to speak up about privacy.
It's like, well,
That's the
they
same
might
reason
come
why
up
I
with
don't
an
use
idea.
Discord.
Oh yeah, what's wrong with Discord? Because I don't really.
They
care
do
for
the same
Discord, but-
thing.
Oh, do they now?
Yeah, I had an account that I made back in high school, middle school, an email. Never once did it ever get broken into, and it had the same password that I made up from back then. Well,
Uh huh.
I started using Discord because you know how people are like, oh, it's the new thing or whatever, and then you have to, or else you get kind of like it gets hard because everyone wants to be little shits about it. Whenever you're like, I prefer to use TeamSpeak because the quality, like even without the privacy issues, TeamSpeak's quality is just superior. Like you get more options to change settings, and like the audio quality, you don't have constant disconnecting issues. Um, and just other stuff. Anyways, so after using Discord after a few weeks or a couple of weeks, someone in France broke into my Gmail account,
Wow.
and that was one of the first accounts I ever made in my life, and it never been broken into before. And in the terms of service of Discord, they monitor everything you do, all of your keylog you. They monitor all the stuff on your computer, and they send it out to sell it, to sell all your information in bulk.
Wow, that's against their mission and policy statement. How fun.
Yeah, it's in the terms and service.
Yeah, I read that pretty
I was
well. But
trying to
then
tell a
again, it's one
friend
of the
about
reasons
it,
why.
and he was being all pissy. And I showed him where it said
It's one,
where it says
it's one
that
of the reasons why
they
I don't.
monitor it and all that. And he's like, "No, it doesn't." And I'm like, "All right, whatever."
Well,
He
it's
was
one of the
being
reasons why
mad because he
I
kept
don't like
wanting me
this.
to use it.
I don't like Discord anyway.
Yeah, like I said, the quality sucks in comparison to what I prefer to use. So even if they didn't do that, I would still not use it a whole lot because I don't like constantly disconnecting and not hearing people or not being able to turn them up as much as I need to, or something always
Yeah.
going wrong with the settings, or the settings just
Yeah.
not working for me. Like 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 I meant that as a broad statement, not working for me. Like maybe or not they didn't work, but also sometimes they just I can't get it to work with my hardware. Sometimes
No, I mean,
I use a
for a
USB
really long
headset.
for a really long time, I couldn't get it to work on my computer at fucking all. I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah,
So, but anyway, to get back over to War Thunder for a minute here. Um, so basically, I did the German and British trees. Then, of course, I did the American tree because when they came out, because fuck yeah. And honest to God, the American planes, compared to how they should perform, don't. You can look at their thrust values, you can look at all this shit, all the data. They don't perform like they should historically. The P-51 is documented all the way from the deck up past 25,000 feet as being able to outturn a 109F and a 109G and a 190A and a 190B. It's not fucking conjecture. They did it. Like, oh, American planes can only boom and zoom because they were so big, dumb, slow, clumsy, and heavy that all you could do was dive and then zoom up. Like, yeah, no. You couldn't do that with zeros, but nobody could do that with a zero. And then, God help you if a KI-43 showed up, because even if you're in a zero, the KI-43 is going to kick your ass.
Did you know that the K4 did outperform it at altitude, but only at high altitude, the highest?
The K4?
Yeah.
I don't know of a K4, but I'm going to go ahead and look up what aircraft that is, because what company made it? Was it Nakajima or Mitsubishi?
No, it's German. My bad. BF-109 K4.
Well, by the time that the Ks were coming around, and by the way, what are you referencing?
Well, there's a couple of I wasn't aware of this originally either, but there's a fellow that's called Greg's Automobiles and Aircraft, and he likes to get down into like the engine stuff and talk about some of those things. And there's another fellow that I think I might be thinking of the wrong one, but he's called Tim's Variety, and he talks about some interesting things about some things. I mean, at the very least, it's an interesting listen to.
I did know about the K4. When you should have said 109 K4, I would have known, because I'm sitting there. We're talking about Japanese aircraft.
I kind of got choked up. I actually swallowed my saliva wrong. But yeah, the Greg guy, he's talking about the F-8F Bearcat. He thinks he says that he believes that it should officially be called. Well, I mean, just in general, super prop, because of the different stuff involved. And he said that what the Germans did, they did
the F-8F Bearcat could be a super prop, yeah.
So he said he's talked about. Now this is just my memory is terrible for the most part at the moment. So I'm sorry that I can't quite recall some of this, but. He said that the Germans actually did something kind of clever with their engines to get a boost. So what they did is that they used squirts of water here and there to do something with the intake.
No, it's water menthol injection.
And since they didn't have all the same stuff readily available, they had to get clever with it like that. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, they weren't the only ones to do that. It's called war emergency power, but water injection was available on many American and British aircraft as well.
I'm referring to the turbocharger and the fuel injection mixtures. That would boost the engine even further. That's what. Yeah, sorry. Damn it. What was that?
Small little doors.
There's something interesting that he talked about the P-51 and the Spitfire. He said what made the Spitfire so effective was that America came in and merged their technology with their engine and superchargers with the Spitfire, and that's what really made the Spitfire become so exceptional. Because if it was just the regular Merlin engine, it would have never. Yeah, if it was just the regular Merlin engine the whole time, it would have never picked up and took off like it did. And
it was the Packard superchargers.
Anyways, I thought that was pretty interesting because I kind of forgot about a little bit of that. I used to do some.
Everyone always thinks that it was the British technology. Well, nope, the Brits were smart, but we were good improvers, and we also had some pretty fun ideas. It's just Allison engines sucked. Continentals didn't. Packards didn't. it was Allison engines, but that's all anyone ever thinks about. Oh, the early P-51 had an Allison engine. It's like, oh, and God forbid, an American plane has an American engine. Who would have thought? But we learned from the British, and the British learned from us. It's one of the reasons why.
Well,
I mean,
about the Maryland engine, it was actually like it wasn't necessarily that the British were like, "Oh, look, they did this and we put it on ours." It's more like they've entered into like some form of contract to where we physically became involved in redesigning their engine and building it, and we made
yeah,
it as
Packard did.
powerful
Yeah,
as it became.
it was Hewitt Packard who did that. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it was a joint effort because there was technology sharing agreements. But that is an area that I knew a bit about, and I'm reading about the K4 because I knew it was the one of the last major versions. Not very many built. That's it.
Well, around the point to where they really got into it between BF 109s and stuff, it got hard to tell which were which because like some of them just seemed like hodgepodges
They were.
where they just
That,
kind of
this is
mixed
one of the
different parts,
yeah, this is what you
repurposed
had
them.
available. The BF. Well, here you go. The BF 109K was the last series to see operational duty and the last in the BF 109 Evolution line. The K was the response to a bewildering array of series, models, modifications, and factory conversions of various 109s, which made maintenance and production incredibly complicated and costly, something Germany could not afford. The RLM ordered Messerschmitt to rationalize production of the 109, consolidate parts and types to produce a standard model with interchangeable parts and equipment. Flaws in the design were to be remedied. Work on the new version began in 1943, the prototype ready by autumn of 43. Serial production began in 1944 with the K4. Due to changes in the design and delays, the K4 would be the only K to be mass produced. Externally, the K is identified by changes to the location of the radio equipment hatch, moved forward and to a higher position between frame 4 and 5, and the filler point for the fuselage fuel tank, which was moved forward to location between frame 2 and frame 3. The DF loop was moved aft to sit between frames 3 and 4 on the fuselage spine, and a small circular plate above the footstep on the port side of the fuselage was deleted. The rudder was to be fitted as standard with a Flettner tab and 2 fixed tabs, although some examples were not fitted with fixed tabs. All K4s were to be fitted with a long retractable tail wheel, with 2 clamshell doors covering the recess where the tail wheel was retracted. The wings featured the large rectangular fairings for large main wheels. Small wheel well doors, originally planned for the G series, were fitted, covering the outer wheels when retracted. These doors, however, were often removed by frontline units. The radio equipment was the FUG-16, relocated main forward swept radio antenna under the port wing from the G10 was carried through as the standard for the K series. The FUG-25 IFF system as well as the DF equipment were also fitted. Internally, the oxygen bottle was relocated from the rear fuselage to the right wing. Flettner tabs for the ailerons were to be fitted to serial production aircraft, but were extremely rare, with the majority of the K4s using the same ailerons as found on the G series. So, they were supposed to be a 30mm Mark 108 cannon with 65 rounds and 2 13mm 131s in the nose. but some K4s were fitted with MG-151 20mm as the motor canon. So they were supposed to be able to carry a 300-liter drop tank, bombs of 1,000 pounds, underwing 21 or 20mm Mauser pods, and gondola pods, or for the 30mm, or the Waffen-Granaten 21 rockets, could be carried after some preparation, but they were rarely used by 109s at this stage of the war. Apparently, all of the standard K4s supplied to 3rd Squadron of 26 Jaegers were equipped with 20mm guns in the hated underwing tubs. George Ginnett's regular aircraft was a G-10, but he flew a K4 as well. He said, he preferred the G-10 as a dogfighter because the K4's bulky armament sharply reduced its maneuverability. The problems persisted with the Mark 108 motor canon, which often jammed while the aircraft was maneuvering, leaving the pilot to fight with just the two 50 caliber heavy machine guns. The standard Revi 16C reflector sight fitted was slated to be replaced by an EZ-42 gyro gun sight, but this never happened. So it was supposed to have a new Daimler-Benz engine, adjusting air screw to allow the engine to use either B4 plus MW 50/50 water menthol injection or C3 fuel. So that was their little clever idea there.
Yeah, I recommend that you check out the channel and see what you think. I want to see what you think about it, about what that fellow was talking about. He made like this series talking about the P-47. One of the things that he mentioned was the service it was shown, because they could have designed drop tanks for it, but they tried to act like they couldn't because of like bureaucratic reasons or something. I don't remember, like some form of disagreement or posturing. I don't remember which. Kind of like with the Mark 14s, maybe. I don't know.
The DB was forbidden to use the use of MW50 was forbidden, but they did it anyway.
Right.
Huh. They delivered a total of 1,593 by the end.
I feel bad for Seth because we're
over
here talking and he's over there. Seth knows more about some of these minor details than I do, at least as far as his memory holds. Right now, I have a lot of stress messing with my memory, so I can't quite contribute as much.
There you go. It's using water menthol 50 and with maximum boost. The 109 K4 was the fastest 109 of World War II, reaching a maximum speed just once of 440 miles an hour. So that's still 30 miles an hour slower than a P-51, but up at 24,000 feet. Without using menthol water mixture, it could only its fastest cruise speed attainable was 416 miles an hour. So the 109 was somewhat comparable to opposing fighters, but the rapidly deteriorating quality of the thousands of novice Luftwaffe pilots pressed into service by this stage of the war meant that the 109's strengths were of little value against the numerous and well-trained Allied pilots.
Right.
Interesting. After the success in 1937
I agree.
Jet was receptive, and they developed an export version of the BF-109 with a different engine. They chose to use the American Pratt & Whitney 1830 with 1,200 horsepower.
You wouldn't mind sharing, if you're able to, you wouldn't mind sharing that with Seth too a little bit, would you? I think he would find that interesting too.
Yeah, I have to power up my other computer again, but yeah, I'll do it.
If you'd like to. I'm curious to see what Seth would think, because Seth actually got to go to some museums. He sent me some pictures of it. So. Of course,
Sure.
that makes him a qualified expert. Of course, he just observed something that makes him a qualification.
That
Right,
is
Seth?
funny.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I did see a real ME262
Oh,
once.
jeez.
You saw a real ME262 once?
It was at a museum just sitting there.
Oh, was that a museum too?
Yeah, just sitting there. Hey,
That
man,
makes you an expert.
If Q was there, we could have started it up.
Yeah.
Flown it out.
Yeah, I went through all the trouble of learning how to start the 262 and IL-2 Sturmovik. The server that I like to play on required manual starts for quite a few different planes, and the 262 was one of them. So I had to manually charge the engine and all that. It was so annoying to get it working. But once I figured it out, I basically did it like how I taught myself math in high school, is I just translated the directions to myself. Because some of the steps that you required to learn were not necessarily necessary, because you could just kind of skip it a little bit, at least in the game. Well, what I mean is like whenever you get the RPM
those are
up.
not steps. Those are incantations. Skip one, and you have offended the plane's soul, and she shall punish you most severely.
Yeah, if you screw up, the engine just shuts down. But see, in the
Screw up, the
game,
engine just blows up.
all I really wound up doing is you just cut the throttle up to like 20 or 30%, 20, 10% or whatever. You let the RPMs pick up, then you put it up to like 20 or 30, and you hold the igniter switch until its RPMs get over a certain amount, and then you let it go, and there you go, it's stable. But a lot of the guys I talked
God,
about,
your ground crew would have fucking killed your ass for burning out the starter motors like that.
well,
That's very terrible for the not title, for the turbine.
that's how you do it, apparently. According to
No, it's
IL-2
not.
Sturmovik, a video game.
No, it isn't. How could you? Hold on a moment.
User entered your channel.
Anyways,
I am informed that you are not dead.
oh, good. I'm glad the message is getting out. Right, Seth?
I guess. I don't know.
Good news, everyone. We're not dead.
Seth appears to be less enthusiastic about the news of your survival than I am.
Oh, the server survival? It'll be fine.
We used to host a lot of servers. I would help police it, and Seth would just own it. And a lot of the times they would come through our TeamSpeak to go whenever they go onto the servers. And for a short time, the TeamSpeak got shut down, didn't it, Seth?
No, I never did.
Well, anyways, we don't host servers like that as much anymore. The only time we do it is just for private use, like when we did the Kerbal Space Program one. or Factorio or whatever. So we just do it so that we can all play together on some games that don't have latent Steam server could support. Oh, by the way, the Kerbal Space Program one was a mod, and it worked
Oh,
pretty
okay.
well. Yeah, it's a co-op mod. It works pretty well. You have to get a server. Yeah. The sad part is that we played around with it briefly, and then Seth disappeared for a while because everyone got sick, and a bunch of stuff happened, and so we barely got to play on the Kerbal Space Program server. Right, Seth?
Yeah.
So,
Furthest point to the right of the map.
what are you doing on Rune Factory?
Something says that there's a hidden seed. Furthest point at the right of the map of the woods of no return.
And let me guess, you can't find it?
Nope.
Have you ever heard of Rune Factory before? You
Hey, I picked it up already. This is floor 2, right?
you there? Have you heard of Rune Factory before? The other guy. Have you heard of the Rune Factory video game series?
It can only be one thing. I probably already have it in storage.
Do you get more storage in 5 than you do 4?
It could be, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I've never run out of storage in either, so.
Yeah. Do you want us to call you Hawk?
I don't really care.
Have you heard of Rune Factory before?
Lotus.
I'm going to guess that he hasn't heard of Rune Factory before, Seth.
It's just a
Sorry, I apologize. Due to a local thing going on, I have not been paying attention at all. If you've been talking to me, sorry.
Right.
No, I mean, really, I actually. You know what really kind of pisses me off?
Oh no, I was just saying right to acknowledge you. I wasn't saying that I didn't believe you.
Well, I just kind of got to say this. It's fucking currently 12:50 in the morning on a fucking now Saturday morning. I'm still in my fucking office. I've been here with minimal exception since fucking 6 o'clock this morning.
Jeez. It's like 200 hours.
70-hour weeks are well under my numbers, unfortunately, for the most part. It's one of the reasons why I say fuck it and play games once in a while. Seriously, I don't have time to go anywhere. What am I gonna do?
Why do you stay there? Just in case or something?
Too much work, not enough people, and I'm one of the only ones who can do some of this shit anyway. So
Do they
kind of
touch
just
you?
works out that way that I, huh?
Nothing. Nothing. I was just gonna make a joke. So do they touch you in awkward places?
Nope, nobody touches me at all. That's whatever.
Oh, that sounds rough. Anyways, I was just telling you about uh servers and stuff. Like
No,
Seth,
I heard the server part, but go ahead. Like
the
Seth
Kerbal
owns
Space
them.
Program.
Yep, he owned. You did the modded server. Seth owns them. You kind of policed them, and now you'll pretty much just do private servers for your own stuff once in a while, as opposed to just managing servers on servers on servers.
Yeah, we mainly just do it for us now. We like for example, if we hosted a server for a game, and let's just say all of us wanted to play together. Oh, we just happened to host the server because we were trying to play together in the first place, so we'd all just play on it. But those are mainly for games that don't do the Steam side ones. Um, and the Kerbal Space Program mod was an example of that because there's a co-op mod. Mm. And I was asking if you heard of Rune Factory.
No, not really.
Well, boy, are you in luck because I have no clue how to explain.
Harvest Moon with combat. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, you've heard of Harvest Moon, right?
Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon 64, a bunch of other shit like that.
So imagine.
Yeah, it's just Harvest. Yeah, it's just Harvest Moon with combat. Made by the same people.
Yeah, you basically just take Harvest
Do you
Moon.
still have to give a blue feather to the girl you like?
Nah, it's engagement ring.
Yeah,
Engagement wig? Holy fuck. He's like, fuck the feather, rip the whole fucking wig off the bird. Jeez, they get more
Yeah,
brutal
there
every
you
time.
go. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
much better.
there's a bit more going on in Rune Factory than
Oh yeah, you don't
than
have to
Harvest
buy
Moon.
you don't have to buy animals though. You go out into the forest and you capture them.
After beating the hell out of them.
That's optional. But yes.
Oh, I guess
So,
I've been doing it
Pokemon?
wrong.
Huh?
Not quite.
So, basically, Pokemon?
You feed them, but yeah. Not really, because, you know, you could just, like... If it's a cow, you get milk out of it. If it's a chicken, it lays a bunch of eggs. Then you use then you use its eggs to make food that you can sell, or hoard. Oh man, me and my hoarding.
Yeah. So the romance thing is a bit more in depth. Like you have different scenes and stuff going on. It's a fantasy style of games.
I'm
You-
sorry, this just sounds like Pokemon with extra steps and subscribe to Pokimane or some shit.
Not really. You don't use the monsters to fight. I mean, you can, but
It's
that
not really
is-
like that though.
I
It-
don't bring them. They're too stupid, and they'll start attacking things they can't win against.
It sounds like Pokemon.
It's nothing
No.
like it though, because it's not. You don't. You as the character are the ones doing the fighting.
Yeah,
With this gun you found.
It's a combat fantasy game with RPG elements, but you also have the farming stuff on the side you can use,
Oh, best
and you can
part.
capture animals to bring back to your farm and just get milk and stuff from.
Or you can force them to work on the farm.
Oh yeah,
You can do that too.
yeah, you can make them water it and all kinds of stuff for you.
Oh, cool. It's on the Switch.
Yes, it is. Room Factory 4 and 5. 4's on Steam, but 5's on Switch right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fantasy elements in there too, like dragons, magic,
You can use
characters
magic.
of different races like elves and shit. I think it wasn't it 3 where you can turn into the animals, or is that in every one of them? So
That was 3. 3
yeah.
was the one where you could turn into an animal. No, it's not like you could turn into an animal. You just turned into a sheep. That was literally the only thing you could do.
Oh right.
Bah.
So, Sheep Simulator 3. That's kind of a weird flex, but okay.
Look, I don't know.
Well,
It's
it was a plot twist. You had amnesia, and it turns out that you're like this rare species of people that could like transform into monster animals.
I guess what makes this game kind of weird is bosses. Bosses will always respawn at when the day resets, which is kind of okay, fine, whatever. But you can go back and just tame them. So you can have an entire crew of boss monsters with you.
By the way, Q, your audio is cutting out badly, and the overall audio quality is going down.
Probably because I'm being tamed, big boy.
I can tell you right now why. No, I can't.
My connection is stable now. Maybe it was just for a minute or something.
Yeah, he's stable. He isn't losing any packages. Don't ask me how I know that.
Okay. All right.
It's a joke.
Sounds like you're trying to hack shit.
Quick.
One of the funnier
He's
things
catching
about
on
having
too
the
much.
administrator of this is you can kind of look and check and see if people are losing packages. You can also check yourself and see what kind of connection information you have. You right click your name, go to connection info, and it'll tell you how alive you are to the server.
Well, it's more. I blame FedEx and DHL, but yeah, and I just forgot the name of the other fucking one. I think it's like E something. But yeah, I blame them for most of my lost packages. The fucking bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tend to. Actually, no. You lose packages? I thought they used them as footballs.
Yeah, they kick them around, throw them in the bushes.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I was working for
Um,
this company that did clothes. He said this we got a couple of calls where their packages were just thrown in the bushes next to their house. It just left there by the delivery guys at UPS and stuff like that. Just thrown in the bush. One of them found it before it got too bad, but the other one, it got rained on. It was there for days before they found it.
Come on, it's not a party until they break it, right?
Yeah, stomp on it,
Mhm.
party, light a fire.
Oh yeah, Room Factory is also one of those games where everything's a skill.
Yeah, it's even sleeping.
Sleeping is a skill, yes it is.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
it's RPG, but it's like
So it's
lighthearted.
Harvest Moon got turned into Story of Seasons, which got turned into this. Okay.
No, this is like this would like the Room Factory 1 would be on the original DS, and it would and it's It looks like it has similar art to the
Rune Factory is a franchise of fantasy role-playing games created by Yoshifumi Hashimoto, primarily published by Marvelous Entertainment. The games are developed by Hashimoto's studio, Hakama, taking over from Netherlands after they ceased operation. The series began as a spin-off to Marvelous' flagship franchise, Story of Seasons, which was formerly Harvest Moon. Story of Seasons references were dropped, starting with the second installment, in order to become its own series. With the first game published in 2006, the property consists of 5 main series games, 2 spin-offs, and numerous manga. It retains the social and farming simulation portions of the Story of Seasons games, but integrates it into a fantasy setting and introduces dungeon crawling into the core gameplay. The basic premise is to play as a hero who has lost their memory but must save the land from the perils of the hands of an evil enemy while uncovering your memories. The title of the series refers to the recurring game mechanic of rune points and runes that are earned by completing a variety of tasks, such as growing crops, crafting items, and leveling up skills. It has received critical and commercial success, declaring it the best performing franchise in 2020. 7 different games within the same shared universe.
Oh
Despite
yeah.
loose connections between each entry, they are their own characters, story, setting, and numerously. The numbers refer to episodes rather than sequels. There are 5 numbered main entrants and 1 enhanced port and 2 spin offs, including a direct sequel to the first game. Rune Factory Fantasy Harvest Moon, released in 2006 for the DS.
Is that talking about whenever the Harvest Moon developers got shafted and they had to start making their own stuff?
Yeah, basically.
And then the publishers took over the port and just threw it in the trash by just throwing any developer at it and kept naming it Harvest Moon.
This is the people who were Harvest Moon kind of deal. Interesting.
Yeah, the people that actually made it, that wasn't the company. They weren't allowed to use the name, even though they technically came up with it, but due to some legal posturing, the publishers or something like that got to keep the name, so they decided just to roll with it. Or something like
The Harvest Moon game mechanic of purchasing animals is replaced by beating the shit out of and befriending monsters in dungeons.
That's about right. I nearly killed you. Now I'm gonna give you some food and you become my friend.
No, it's like love at first punch.
Yeah.
I knew when they beat me that they were meant for me. Good thing I'm a masochist. I could tell by the way when they beat me. I love a woman that could just kill me.
Are you okay?
I think that's a line from Cowboy Bebop.
No, the line from Cowboy Bebop is, "I love a woman who can kick my ass."
No, there was also a line where he said a woman can kill me too. It was both.
You know, that came from the abridged version, by the way. The guy did it for the meme.
I don't know, cause see, they have a movie. They have a couple of movies too that kind of retrace the characters briefly. So maybe that's where that one part's from.
If you're talking about the new live action movie, even the original guy, even the guy who made the entire original story, the original movie, and everything, he said that shit is not in my universe. Do not speak it around me.
I'm not talking about the live action stuff. I'm talking about actual movies, like with the actual characters that they made years ago. In fact, a certain developer that some people don't like from Ruby kind of copied it. Some tried to copy it, but they didn't have the same soul. Like whenever they introduced the character Ruby, they almost one-to-one copied that on the movies. In the beginning of one of the movies, there's this store scene where Spike goes in the store and it's being robbed or whatever, and he just fucks with the guys and then kicks their asses or something like that. And it's pretty well made. It sets up some stuff for how well it was done, at least in my opinion. Apparently some others too, but I barely remember it. I just went over it. I just went back to take a peek.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
But anyways, I was thinking that might have been from one of those.
Oh well. Yeah, either way, funny. But are you okay? A woman who can kill you is both intriguing and dangerous. You must, of course, always respect.
Well, there's nothing like having a good old beating to remind you who's in charge, right, Seth? Dude, I totally hear something in the clouds.
If you got like a fucking Bacta tank or like a continuous superior HP regen potion or something on an IV drip, I could see it. But otherwise, you're in for a world of pain, man.
Seth likes a woman that just
Hearing you
ignores him.
talk, Q, just reminds me of some of the ways to cheese this game.
Oh yeah.
Find a weak monster and just sit there and leave. And let it just beat the living tar out of you.
Oh yeah, to farm
And you're-
defense and stuff.
Yeah, yep. Or, better yet, you can make potions of dubious qualities and start drinking them.
Dubious quality, you say? I think Q is intrigued.
Oh yes,
It will simultaneously cause poison paralysis, magic
yes,
skill,
yes.
give you a cold, make you fatigued, and knock you out, all at the same time.
That's one hell of a list of side effects. What's it cure?
Life.
It cures you from living.
There's too many people these days who would look at all that and say, sign me the fuck up. I'm done with my subscription anyway.
Yeah, that subscription's pretty.
But there's no refunds though.
Man,
But this premium account is getting expensive.
no.
Well, too bad that we didn't sign. Your parents signed you up for it. You're stuck with it.
Give me a 72 hour. I ain't got gold.
You're stuck with it because there's no way to recover your password or reset it.
Yeah.
There's no way to make changes to this account unless you make more.
We don't have admin privileges.
That's right. The only changes you can make are not admin privileges.
Anyways, one method of farming in the game, your levels, is to drink that potion continuously. Next to the hospital, of course.
So that you can run in.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't fall over dead and then they charge
Can you run anywhere?
You know, once you wake up, you'll be paralyzed, but at least you'll be close enough to a doctor where they can cure it.
I mean, after a couple of times of that, you know the ER nurse is gonna just be like, nah, fuck this guy.
They get paid, so I guess they don't care either way.
Not really, because as long as as long as they don't carry you in there, it's free.
How generous.
I know.
Well, then again, knowing how those games go sometimes, it's probably a privilege because you helped them out or something.
Yeah, that being said, if they carry you in there, it gets extremely expensive. think
They
about
start taking kidneys.
10% of the money you have on you.
It'd be cheaper if they took the kidney.
More money you have, though, the more they take, because it's a percentage.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it'd be cheaper if they just took my leg.
Just take it. I don't need. Just don't charge me. I don't need it anymore either.
Or become really good friends with the doctor. Like,
You know,
remember their
it's just
birthday and everything.
when people say it costs an arm and a leg to go to the doctor these days, they that's not supposed to be taken literally.
That's true, but
But
we
how
haven't
many
seen
would
these
do it
prices.
willingly? Just like
You
you
haven't
ain't
seen the
seen these
prices.
prices. Jesus Christ. I
It's a
haven't
wealth
played Rune
tax.
Factory 5. It's a wellness tax.
Room, yeah, yeah. Rune Factory 4. The doctor was afraid of any of
You
you red
know,
liquid.
I have to say, like, sorry to interrupt, but I have to say, dear God, even fucking Edward got a better deal than that. At least he got alchemy powers. I mean, fuck.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Although, once you get really good at medicine making, you can just make level up potions. Yeah, that's one of the best parts.
I don't know why, but that just reminds me of that one fucking. Did you see the the ASDF animation series?
What is that?
Oh, hey man, how you doing? And this guy walks up, punches him in the face. He goes, "Oh man, what the hell is wrong with you?" And then out of nowhere, this fucking scroll shows up and he goes, "Level up."
Yeah.
I'll send you if you want. I'll send you the link to ASDF. I mean, some of them are funny, some of them aren't, but overall, it's pretty freaking. At least the older ones, anyway, were pretty fucking funny.
What? One of the funnier things is you get a kid in this game, and then you can just use him as a meat shield.
Isn't that what real kids are for though?
Real kids are for free labor.
Yeah, they don't do that. I can at least get the kid to take the hit for me.
Apparently,
finding a near impossible boss monster, your kid along.
Rune Factory has more character interaction scenes than Harvest Moon, I think. Right, Seth? Because there's like different like events and things like that where there's like cutscenes and stuff and interactions. And then you have the relationship interactions.
4 is significantly better than 5, I can already tell you that. There's some minor quality of life stuff in 5, but not enough to make it matter.
Is it the same though, or is it lesser? Because you said 4 was better.
I'd say lesser.
That makes me curious. This guy is named Waifu, just Devastator. He was kicking a lot of ass in this game. He going around in the BF-109K, just fucking.
I have a feeling it's
never
because
mind. He only got one kill.
I have a feeling it's because it's one of the first actual 3D games they've ever made.
Oh,
and I have a
that could be part of it.
Feeling that the reason this game is
suspiciously,
it's not bright feeling. I mean, the combat's fine. They carried over to the combat about the same.
But the color palette's darker.
Some of the more powerful weapons stayed. Weirdly enough, the leap blades have left us, but not the
Rest
carrot
in peace.
blade.
Rest
where
in
we
peace,
take a
leaf
carrot,
blades.
file a blade onto it, and then use it as a weapon.
Is it just almost as effective as leaf blades?
I don't use long swords, so I don't know. I use dual blades because who cares about the fence?
Oh, I thought it was one.
All right, from 40 seconds in until 51 seconds in. Those two are funny. I put it in the channel for you.
Okay.
Got your nose. Look out, he's got a nose! You gotta help me, man. My tire's evil and it's gonna kill me. Please don't hurt me. Hello, parking meter. Hello. Hey, guy. Hey, smell my flower. Hey, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Somebody help me, I'm being robbed. I'll save you. Tree powers activate. Die, potato.
Interesting.
Ah!
Right.
Why would you do this? I have a wife and family. Ah, the pain. It's unbearable. What have I done? Ah! Tell my children I love them. Daddy!
Huh. I seem to have died cooking. That is hilarious.
How'd that happen?
You died cooking?
Yep.
You said that as soon as I saw the cake jump to its suicide.
The thing is once you run out of RP, then it starts consuming health. Once you run out of health, you drop down like a sack of potatoes. And then you wake up in the hospital because someone finds you and then
Drags your lifeless corpse,
yeah, to the hospital.
dripping with crafting fluid. That's how
And
it
all I
works.
was doing was making fruit juice, which I can only assume I stuck my hand inside of the blender, and that's what got me.
It
I got
just, the
so
blender
tired,
just sucked you up.
I got so tired, I accidentally just, fell into the blender. It happens. It happens to the best, right?
Right. He's crazy. Well, this guy's real smart. Just blow your chaff on the runway. No big deal. You'll
Hey.
get it back.
It's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah,
How many
it's just,
times have I
it's just
died
a,
beautifully because whenever I put everything?
yeah, but it's a waste because it's not even off the runway yet.
It's a waste for me too, but I do it anyways.
Yeah, but that's a
Maybe
little
the
different.
largest. I may be the largest fireball, but
That's a little different, though. You see, you have to understand, sir.
oh yeah, how wise do you think it is that I find meteorites on the ground, I break them, a plant seed falls out of them, and I grow the plant.
Is it suspicious, is what you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
The corn itself is about the size of a human arm that is growing off the stalk, so
Really?
yeah. It should be fine.
I wonder what Hawk thinks about that.
It'll be perfectly
How
fine.
does it make
and
him feel?
if it starts talking to me, I'll just beat it with a stick.
Jesus.
So how are you any different than the fucking the guy that just randomly punched the other guy in the face when he walked up to talk to him?
You talking about how he busted up the meteorite?
Yeah, it's something about it came up. I had to go take care of something. So, my
Seth said,
apologies, but
Seth
you
said,
said something along the lines of you just come if it comes and talks to you, you're just gonna hit it with a stick. What are you hitting with a stick?
Seth
Some
said,
corn I found inside of a meteorite. Corn seeds I found inside of a meteorite.
he said the corn is the size of an arm.
Wow. Yeah, don't trust that shit.
I was asking if it was wise growing it.
Also, not to be a total killjoy or nothing, but I think it's about time to throw my futon down in here. I've got an early morning anyway.
Alright. Have fun.
I mean, dude, I'm literally sleeping in my fucking office. How much fun can I be having?
You can have all the fun.
Okay,
Close
what's
your
that?
eyes.
What is
Close your eyes
that?
and think of it as a sleeping party.
What the fuck is a sleeping party? And also, what kind of fun is he having?
The best fun.
Best fun? Sounds like. Never mind.
You can have no pants Tuesday any day you want.
I'm not in that kind of office.
I didn't say you were a stripper now.
But no, I'm still not in that kind of an office. Yeah, no, that wouldn't end well on any day of the week.
That's just rude. You apologize to the cutlery.
What happened with cutlery? What's going on?
I have no clue. That's why we need to ask them. Anyways, what else happened with the corn? The space corn?
I don't know. It sounds like you need to cut to the chase, though.
Yeah, you need to really cut the corn in the head before I die.
It sounds like a really deep-rooted problem, though.
I thought it'd be a good idea. I'd save some money on seeds if I brewed the seed I found inside the
Aw,
meteorite.
shucks, you're so nice.
Sounds like your luck is on the rocks with that one.
Wouldn't you?
I am busting up meteorites.
I would try
harvesting
killing it
seeds.
with fire, and if that didn't work, I'd try killing it with acid.
What does
Yeah,
the corn actually do, though?
You can actually cook on the cob. It's a special kind. It's far more expensive. But the corn has a metallic sheen on it, you know, like that rainbow metallic sheen. Yeah, it's got that.
I bet it's tasty.
Sure.
It tastes like a rainbow in the dark.
I'm fairly sure that eating it is a horrible idea.
It's a crime against humanity. When there's lightning, you know it always brings me down.
Anyways, if you could make this game like worse in my opinion than 4, is it's way shorter and way like Room Factory 4 had some like blocking where you know you had to do certain events to get certain things done. Like, you know, you need to do a little bit to get a little farther into the story on some characters.
I think so. Where you interact with them a little bit more.
Yeah, Room Factory 5 completely blocks you out of the flower shop until like midway through the game.
What's a flower shop? Those bastards.
The only reason that matters
How
to
dare
me,
they stop me from getting my flowers?
the only reason that matters to me is because you use flowers to make potions. And without potions, I can't exploit the heck out of the game. But they did leave the exploits.
Those monsters.
You know, level up potions and just spending your entire fortune on making them.
sounds like a lot of work for not much gain. Does a level up potion give you a full level at least?
Yes, one full level no matter what.
And how expensive are they?
Expensive, extremely expensive. If you grow them yourself, incredibly cheap.
How hard is it to grow them yourself?
Once you get going, you can probably start making about 10 a day.
This game sounds slightly fun. Is it co-op?
Nope, sadly not.
All of them are individual only.
Well,
Now.
Stardew Valley is co-op, and it's some people say it's kind of similar to Rune Factory and Harvest Moon, which I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah, but you don't get the same amount of
Yeah, I mean there is some fantasy.
exploitiness that they can give you. Also, you can get create love potions, which is why I generally don't talk to anyone. What I'm gonna do is drug the entire town to love me. So
Love me.
as soon as I get my level high enough, they will be.
How many levels are there?
I think 999.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck going 1 to 100. That's
Yeah,
too
yeah.
mainstream.
I hacked
Yeah.
the other game. 99.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ooh, even better though. It has a new game plus feature, which really gets screwy.
Does Stardew Valley have a new game plus?
No. So the new game plus feature will let you.
Well, technically Stardew Valley never ends, right? So
Yeah. So you get everything. You know, like all
the
of
mods
your
for Stardew
items.
Valley are pretty good too.
You get all of the items that you had previously, plus all the levels.
Oh right, so context, Hawkerino. Stardew Valley is made by one dude over the course of like, 16 years?
I have no idea. It can't be that. That sounds more like 2 people or 2 or 3 people.
No, I remember when it came out, they said it was like 15 years. Or something like that. I think.
What's above my head? Yeah, this game is having severe issues with pop-in.
Heading to the base.
76,000, 12,000.
Reloading.
I'd be curious to know what engine they made this game in.
Keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
There's also medicine you can make that from fertilizer. It says whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. How's that make you feel, Q?
Makes me feel special, I guess. What about you?
It's funny. He's- So now I can start making Invinciroids.
Hooray!
It makes you invincible for a few seconds. You don't like one. I think it's like 100% all resistances, 100%
Mm-hmm.
to HP regeneration, and everything else.
So, Hawk, you haven't heard of Stardew Valley before, have you?
No, he has. He's played it. No,
Stardew
not
Valley?
Stardew Valley. No, sorry, Harvest Moon. Sorry.
Stay away, missile, you motherfucker. Fucking piece of shit.
Oh, right, right.
Gotta
I'm
piss on,
growing gold. That's right, golden pumpkins.
always gotta piss on my parade. I dodged so many missiles, and it was just that one that just happened to be more persistent than the others. You hear me, Seth?
hmm Another thing I like, okay, Rune Factory 4. One of the great things about it was, okay,
Hey,
let's
Hawk, you
say
still there?
I'm just telling you about the game queue. You know, like whenever you harvest something, it remembers that you've harvested it, and if there's any quest that said, "Hey, can you harvest this crop for me and ship it?" And if you've already done that in the past, but it wasn't, part of the quest, it would still count it. This game, nope. You gotta regrow it.
That is convenient. I guess I forgot or didn't realize that was a feature.
Yep, that's a feature of Rune Factory 4 that isn't in 5. That kind of irritates me. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a waste.
Yep.
Well, you said you suspected that was partly because of the transition to full 3D, right?
I don't think that is. I think that is.
I mean,
either people-
not that, but like other stuff going on, right?
other stuff, yeah. But this doesn't feel right. That being said, this isn't the first full 3D one either. There have been others.
Well, in theory, they would have to divert more energy to working on the full 3D stuff, so they end up losing out on some other features, especially if it was their first major full 3D.
The
What was
first
the
3D
others?
one I've ever played was Tides of Destiny, I think? Anyways, that was a much funnier one.
What's it called?
Imagine this. Tides of Destiny. That one was much fun.
What was
Okay,
it on
imagine-
PlayStation?
3, I think. PlayStation 3.
Tides of Destiny.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd
think
like
it
to
was-
try it then sometime.
It was hilarious because instead of losing your memories, you never lost your memories in Tides of Destiny. What ended up happening was you and your childhood friend, it's a girl, merged bodies.
You know, there's somebody out there smiling about that.
Yeah. They became the same person inside there. The only person who could hear her is him, and she's just a voice in his head. Constantly yelling at him.
That sounds terrible. That's like hell.
But sometimes she can take over the body. It's hilarious. They're both completely conscious of it. Trying to search for a way to free themselves. Sometimes Eventually, I think she gets the ability to communicate with people telepathically, but still, it's just like, good lord, that's just some level of awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's so funny how they deal with it.
that's pretty fart. Does she cuss people out?
No,
Does she call them retarded?
she'll call them stupid.
Does she beat the hell out of them
No, but
while I watch?
it gets hilarious. Like, oh, in every room factory there's a bathhouse, so they had to, of course, come up with something for that.
Right.
Wait a second, close your eyes. I
Yeah,
can see
from the
everything.
classic bathhouse scene.
Hmm. Well, the guy is the main body, not the girl. But yeah,
He's like, look, feast
no,
your eyes upon thy member.
nope. She's like, you close your eyes. You're just gonna take a bath for the rest of your life with your eyes closed. How's this gonna work? Don't know, don't care. That's for you to decide. I think it was tied to Destiny. I never beat it. It got too hard after a while.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Well, maybe I should try to emulate it sometime.
Yes, yes, this is it. This is that one for him. Yep, it was made in 2011 and it's for Wii and PlayStation 8.
Who really know?
Yep. Yep, both our souls were trapped in the same body. Oh, much fun, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you couldn't choose if you wanted to be the guy or not. You had to be the guy, right?
Yep. Until the end, then you can choose her.
Was that for New Game Plus?
No, that is whenever you two get separated.
But that's already at the end of the game, though, right?
Yep. Joke's on you. Right?
I guess so. I was just curious. I could just look up a Let's Play of it, too. See if I could find any. It's probably... Would you consider it underrated?
I don't remember it well enough. I remember it being funny in the beginning. I think a lot of it's actually voice acted. And it looks like you can switch between the two characters at any time.
It looks that way, but can you?
Yeah. Yep. You definitely can switch between the two characters at any time.
Hey, Seth, you know the F-105D
I guess.
in the American tree? The one that you were researching, the Thunder Chief?
Mm-hmm.
It has a 20mm rotary cannon. Well, it's electric powered, I think. And if you look at the front of the plane, it's always spinning. So you don't have to worry about a spin up time. Unlike some of the other planes that use a cannon like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, right?
I guess.
Well, some planes you have a spin up time before you could fire. I'm going to space. Yeah. I'm going to space, Seth. See you later, boys.
He's like, ooh, I'm going to space. All of a sudden, his engine explodes.
Damn it, I hit the ceiling.
What is up with the, like, I don't
What's wrong?
the family Santa employee scares freak me out a lot. Okay.
The family Santa Boya?
Yeah.
They just appear on the screen, you just shit your pants. Like, oh god, not again.
Well. Okay.
Like, oh god.
All right, Kale. Let me just let you experience this, okay? You'll understand once you see what I'm talking about. So, these people.
These people. Oh god. That was in 4 too, wasn't it?
That's in 4.
I can
This
never
is
forget
Tides
the
of
trauma of that
Destiny.
deformation.
This is Tides of Destinies.
I guess that's not so bad.
Are you part of the Santa Claus line too? Really? When does that deformity start then?
Jesus Christ! What the hell is that thing?
Let me just get more of the Santa their line.
Holy shit!
And this has been going on since Room 3 too, by the way.
Attention to the map.
Mm-hmm.
Peaceful, and I haven't figured out what it is about them.
I guess they're there for someone, the developers, to make fun of, which is acceptable, I suppose.
Alright, that's it. I think find it better if I just go to games, Room Factory, the original Room Factory characters.
The enemy is winning.
Games. Yeah, it already shows you. Oh yeah, there's also Room Factory Frontier. Never played that one, I don't think. I think I got it though. Here's Room Factory 1s. Here you go, Kay. Look at this fine specimen.
Fine specimen.
Yeah, I thought you'd love these fine creatures. Yes, creatures is probably a better word to describe them. Right?
Locked up. Weapons released.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Would you describe them as creatures?
Yeah, they're abominations. Oh, and you know what's real funny? Because I was going through Rune whenever I was meeting all the characters in Rune Factory 5, I was just like, there he is. There's the other. Oh my god, that's fucking.
I'm just going through meeting all the characters. I'm like, hello, hello, hello. Yep, there he is. Oh god. Of course they put you in here. And here's Rune Factory 5s. Do you notice thing about all of them?
Well, they obviously have extreme confidence, and they believe they're the gift from God, and they look like a genetic experiment of amalgamation of creatures gone horribly wrong.
What makes them funnier too is they're very nice people.
Yeah. Didn't they make funny noises though?
Yes, they do. But we're also incredibly generous and nice people. It just makes it all the worse. They're just like, oh yeah, they're like,
Commencing attack.
car gets hacked. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more. This one is from Room Factory 3. This one apparently isn't a nice person, but, you know. A part of me just thinks it's funny that it started in Room Factory 1.
Radar.
This all started in number 1.
Radar lock.
And they continue to, you know, like every town has one of these people from this family. That's what makes it creepy.
They've got a monopoly.
There's something wrong with them. What would you do? Like a few of them look like they could just chomp your head off. Actually, you know what? Walrus. They're walruses. They
They're
have the walrus mouth.
people.
Yep, they have the walrus mouth. That's what they are. And then you just need to make sure you avoid them at all possible.
Okay.
All costs. Because they might eat you. Or they might actually become your friend. I mean...
I guess it could go either way, huh?
Hey, Q! The corn I got from outer space is fully grown.
Good job.
It's, the cob now is twice the height of me.
Jesus. It's gonna become a person at this rate.
And every seed is a different color. I mean, every piece of corn is a different color. That's
Oh,
perfect. I just need to grab it. How many did it drop for me? Really? It's just one piece of corn. Oh, I did get the seed back for it. What level seed are we at now, though? 5? Jeez.
Right back. I'm gonna use the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
I'll come back.
Attention to the map. Well done.
User disconnected from your channel.
Oh boy, that one's special. That's the special one of the group, Seth.
You see them all now?
What's up with that, look at their hair.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Imagine the family reunion. Imagine if you were forced to go to family reunion.
nightmares. Oh, that's nightmarish,
It'd be
Seth.
nightmares. I think
Don't-
you'd find yourself at home there.
Don't wish that on anybody, Seth. Nobody deserves
you
to live
wouldn't.
like that.
They're just eccentric billionaires. That's the only thing.
Mhm.
Maybe you might be able to. What makes this really funny is like you could marry two daughters from that family in the first one, I think, or the second one, and they have none of those features. Funny, right?
Mhm.
You can marry daughters from that family, and they do not have that defining feature.
Muzzle mouth.
Eh,
What's the deal with that then? Those are the pure bloods. That's why
Maybe it shows that
see.
maybe it's
It turns out that they actually have a class system, and the ones that look deformed are actually the ones considered the highest in their rankings. Those are
or
those are
maybe it just
the
doesn't show up until later in life.
those are the fabulous pure bloods, Seth.
From maybe it just doesn't show up until later in life. It's a trap.
It's because you diluted the bloodline.
How would you have diluted the bloodline if
Destroy the target.
I don't know, but that does sound kind of funny though. Like if they had a system like that where the deformedest ones are the purest of blood and considered the highest ranking. Could you imagine that?
You know, I would put it past that family. But who's the head matriarch of family? Or who's the head of this? Free. How do I, how would you describe them? Confidence? No. They're they exist in their own way, I guess.
Oh, that's fucking annoying. It's fucking
What?
annoying. I got one of those large EC map versions in this plane. I was heading towards a bomb point, and I got up to like 9,000 kilometers up, which is like extremely high. And then a fucking MiG-19 shows up out of nowhere and just missiles me like it's like it's just a normal day down the stroll. It just flies off like it's no big deal. So fucking annoying. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, there was literally nobody over there where you were. You just had to fucking run it. You had to freaking go up there to run into me, didn't you? I was climbing higher than anybody, too. You know?
Yep.
I was making sure
See,
that I was higher than
this,
everybody.
see, this girl is of the family. I'll give it a second. There we go. That one's a part of the family. And this one's a part of the family.
She got the different genes, obviously. Wait, they look the
Or
same.
they
Oh god, I figured it out. All the special children like that are doomed to look just alike.
I have more of a
While the
unique feeling.
deformed ones are the top of the society, get preferential treatment and have some differences.
I have a feeling that they grow into it, like that's they look like young, and then when they get a little older, they just transform all of a sudden.
I don't think so. I think those are the oddities that get cast out.
How would that make you feel though? You're just like, oh yeah, this one's fine, and then 4 years later, it's the mouth going. What's going on here? Or it skips a generation. That's another fun one. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Or it skips a generation. One generation looks normal, and then the next generation automatically turns into that.
Yeah, probably. It's like skips a generation.
The enemy's getting closer to victory.
How'd that make you feel? Burn the kids?
Weapons release.
I
Alright,
ran into
alright,
my
I'm
own
getting off,
bombs
okay?
and lost tail control and crashed
Oh.
into the ground.
Ah, well. These things happen. I gotta go to bed, though. Alright. Good night.
Good night, Seth.